everyone, it's Claire and happy full moon in Cancer. This is Wolf Moon, so it's the first full moon of 2025, and Happy New Year. I've looked at Pam Gregory, I've looked at Tanya Gabrielle, I've looked at Molly McCord and another astrologer. So I'm just going to romp through their views, and those are all their views, so I just summarised them a little bit, and I'm really going to try and skim through a bit because I think it can be too long-winded. So basically there's a very important opposition of Mars versus Pluto, and you can feel that, well, you felt that earlier in January, but there's actually 3 phases to it, and this is according to Pam Gregory. She mentioned the 3rd of November 24 and the 3rd of January 25, so recently, and on the 24th of April 25. So those are kind of peaks for that sort of opposition between Mars and Pluto. And therefore, she said, what happened sort of early November for you? There may be some polarization. She's talking about like Mars versus Pluto affecting that. So feelings running high, opposition, you know, against 2 things, and getting fixed views and really digging in a lot. So, and also she mentioned that some of the fixed signs like Taurus, Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius possibly in the next 2 years may experience big beginnings or big endings, and that's a lot to do with Pluto. And but it helps us with our soul's growth, and Pluto actually empowers us. And there might be quite a lot to do with, and this is generically, power plays, control, manipulation, brute force, passion, willpower, focus, and locking on to projects. And this full moon, and all full moons, are really about completion, and it will teach us maybe as well to stop judging, this one particularly, and really releasing judgment and moving to unity away from sort of aggression. Cancer is a softer, gentler sign really, and it has also though sort of created the feeling of stepping away from sovereignty and more about really the home, and it's very much about family and so on. And Mars has actually gone retrograde, so it's closer to the Earth, and it might mean we want to go over our physical actions and our use of power, how we've given our power away, or how we have, you know, used our power with others. And it asks us to look at how we can own that power differently, and have we been rash as well. And so Mars in Cancer happened on 6th of January. And really it's about protecting ourselves and our loved ones and physical security. And Mars will stay there till about the 18th of April. And then it's in Leo, which is kind of about more centre stage and being attractive and so on. Mars has simple, direct energy, and Pam suggests doing things like exercising a bit more, working on project. And it can actually mean being tired and frustrated, but it's released on the 24th of February, and then you might feel a bit better. And she also said on the 30th of December, Mars moved out of bounds. So it's kind of might have expressed more, we might have felt like expressing more extremes or impulsive or being more reactive. But step back from that and take a breath, really. And we've also got Pluto in Aquarius shifting to the power to the people. That happened not that long ago, really. And you've got January 11th, Aries stationary direct in Aries, 24 degrees of Aries. And it's the street, Aries is a street fighter, sister of Mars, and all about social inclusion. And 2025, she reckons, really is the year of truth. And the North Node is strong too in Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, possibly throwing those signs more onto the sort of centre stage. The Cancers, the Libras and Capricorns really might get more attention, links with the North Node. And we've got also 7th of February, she thought that there's something to do with extreme wildfires, she said, and it was similar to what happened in June 2006, and then Pisces to do with flooding. So it's interesting she mentioned wildfires, really, isn't it, considering what's happened in California. But 7th of February, conjunct North Node, and that's when she thinks there might be a bit more flooding, and that's to do with Pisces. And Pisces is very active and relevant at the moment. We're coming into Pisces season very soon. And you've also got several water signs taking effect. I'll talk about that in a moment. You've got, what did she say, 5 planets in water. So you've got Moon, Mars, Neptune, Saturn, Venus in water signs, and Neptune conjunct the North Node and dipping into Pisces. So a lot to do with emotions and compassion and feeling things. And an echo of the full moon on the 12th of January 20, which was when the pandemic happened 5 years ago. So how far have we come? And look at the themes like the power, social, political structure changes, what's happened, really. And you've also got, like, the moon can be seen as the people, really. You've got Pluto in Aquarius about freedom, civil rights and equality. So a real change and a flipping on its head type thing. You've got Cancer being practical security. And a T-square between the Sun, Moon square to Chiron. And Chiron in Aries indicates a wound in the i.e. victimhood. So we need to think, are we healing victimhood? And Chiron is a maverick, so but it celebrates individuals and brings them into the whole and about being authentic. You've got Jupiter Saturn square exact on the 24th, went exact 24th of December. So, and that's probably where we might have started looking at our belief systems in more detail. And we've also got Venus, Saturn in Pisces, and that's happy in Pisces. And that can be good for consolidating strong relationships or testing weak ones. You've got as well Venus, Saturn, Neptune all close, and Uranus except trine, Sun sextile Moon, East to express our authenticity, and we've also, which is good for the higher consciousness, really. We've also got Mars trine Neptune, good for spiritual action, and Taurus bringing in stuff like agricultural food production, new ways to grow things, and trine Jupiter to Chariklo. Chariklo was the wife of Chiron, so the soul midwife, and transitions consciousness. So this is a good thing for 2025, where hopefully there'll be a big expansion in consciousness and so on as we ascend further upwards. And Pam talked about cartography, and I think it's like a buzz thing in astrology at the moment, meaning geography and how the astrology affects different places. She mentioned different ones like China and the midheaven, which is the politics of the chart. So you've got Israel's government, Iraq, you've got France, Ethiopia, Australia mentioned, and China, South America, Brazil, Indonesia, she mentioned. She said about turning inward, and you know, we may shift to a different dimension where the challenges don't exist. That's a kind of philosophical thought, you know, where people talk about these timelines and that we're all shifting differently. And also I picked up something that it's the wolf full moon, and the wolf can help us remain fluid because it's kind of in and out of the pack, and it's really good with the other link there is Cancer moon, and wolf is big with family, so that's interesting. So there's, you know, sort of spotlight on the family at the moment. Then I was looking at Molly McCord, and gosh, we're up to 9 minutes already. She talked about getting things done because the sun is in Capricorn at the same time as the moon is in Cancer. Capricorn's about planning and planning the year ahead, having a purpose and productivity. and thinking about our priorities. And the full moon in Cancer is about kind of more retreating and stepping away, but the sun in Capricorn is about showing up. So it's interesting, but you've got Mars preferring taking charge, but it feels a bit uncomfortable because it's gone retro and it's in Cancer, and those two don't mix that well. So yeah, you've got kind of slight weird feeling, you know, but the moon is in its home sign, so it's tuned in. We're tuning into what we feel, and we might need to recover. So she was talking about people, you know, wanting to take time out really, and Mars looks for what we need, and we've got possibly increasing intuitiveness because of the moon being very intuitive, and it's linked with Cancer obviously. And she also said about seeing the crown chakra going into the heart chakra. So this was Molly McCord, by the way. And the turning point about leaving behind old emotional imprint. And Uranus revisits territory as in May 24. And she talked about saying Cancer not sure, but Capricorn says let go of things. And Uranus is there to shake it up and saying don't hold back. So, and Mars is protective but is saying are we ready? And Mars approaches a standoff regards Sun in Capricorn around January 15th, 16th. So I wasn't sure what she meant exactly, but something, you know, quite substantial. And then you've got changes of cultural values and so on, and you've got early February, trust what you need to step away from, February and March, emotional processing, stay focused on the long term, and Aquarius new moon coming, newer feelings, changes and getting over stuff. And then on to Tanya Gabrielle, and she mentioned the number 24 degrees of, you know, the moon in Cancer, and 24 adds up to 6 in numerology, which is about nurturing, love, family, home, environment, and really Pluto ruling Scorpio, so emotional things coming to a head. Cancer's water, Mars rules Aries. Mars can be brash, but it's retro, so at the moment it's slowed down, and that its better side would be courage and patience, which shine through at the moment. And she mentioned times 13th of January for the full moon, 11:26 Universal Time PM, 5:27 New York PM, I think 2:27 PM LA. So, and also 13 being 13 lunations, 13 divine is the divine feminine number, and 13 weeks in a season. And also she talked about really do unusual, like link with intuition, so things like fantasy, music, imagination, stargazing, and also physical therapies would be good at this time really, and so on. And Venus squares Jupiter, new emotional experiences, and also harmonizing your life, good for real estate, family, home, new beginnings, and so on. And notice where you feel better and explore that. And another lady I follow, I don't know her name, I think she's Spanish, she's really good as well. She talked about the 5 planets in water signs, emotions high, and she talked about Mars being masculine, Cancer effects with the past, sensitivity, closer, so and Mars is closer to the Earth till the 24th of February. Are we listening to our feelings, and do we trust our feelings? And we may connect with our childhood stuff, she thought, and childhood wounds and baggage, and to remove old hooks. And Pluto is transforming, even past lives and ancestral healing as well were mentioned. And she also mentioned more strongly than the others, the North Node was in Aries, the South Node was in Libra, and now it's new for another 18 months because there's a cycle. The North Node will be in Pisces, which is about healing and intuition, imagination, and the South Node will be in Virgo for release and analysing and for critical information. and it closes the lessons of the last 18 months, karmic patterns, and so on. And really it's a different sort of period now, because Pisces, the North Node for the collective, is about healing, intuition, imagination, probably a lot of creativity actually going on now as well, moving on a higher path and listening to our intuition. And this is a very transformative full moon. So reflect, go within, possibly be more alone at times, and it's almost like to be introverted. That is one heavy actually walk through in the end, but that's the best I can do with quite a bit of information. So wishing you a very happy full moon, full wolf moon in Cancer, and have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.